The community really doesn't seem to like this fight. And I get it, I'm not here to argue that this fight is secretly the best fight in the entire tournament. What I wanna do is argue that the fight between Terashi and Okubo, while isn't very exciting, it's still full of interesting ideas and mind games. At first I wanna point out a fight that I think is actually kind of dull, for this very simple reason that both fighters are very identical. For me, a good fight should follow a certain logic. Essentially, both participants have strengths and weaknesses and wanna get the opponent into a situation where their strengths shine and their weaknesses are hidden. In the case of Kono Agito against Lu Tien, this whole idea kind of falls flat. Both fighters have formulas, a martial art that is defined by its unpredictability and insanely large move pool. Here Lu Tien is slightly better. Then both also have a secondary martial art, where Agito is at a slight advantage as his attacks take a shorter time than Lu Tien's. The fight is won by Agito with quickly transitioning between formulas and martial arts, hence forcing Lu Tien to use his advance in which he can't use his formulas anymore. So while Lu Tien gotten a lot stronger, he is now predictable and Agito is able to defeat him with his martial arts. This fight, while being spectacular, isn't all that interesting to me, that's just my opinion. Now back to the topic. Looking at Okubo and Terashi's strengths and weaknesses, there's already a lot more to talk about. Different than Terashi being very similar to Okubo, he's more of a perfect counter to him, as he disables all of Okubo's strengths. Okubo can't grapple Terashi as of his destructive shivering, which makes it impossible for Okubo to grapple him without sustaining massive damage. Okubo also can't strike Terashi as of his dynamic vision, which allows Terashi to easily dodge Okubo's attacks. Only looking at Terashi's strengths, he seems to be at a great advantage, and he is. So Okubo has to figure out his weaknesses and how to exploit them. Okubo overall only has to worry about his overall stats not being the best in the verse. His strikes aren't as good as Score Lengths and his grappling isn't as good as Imai Cosmos. While Terashi has so many weaknesses like none other. He's rather light, he's physically weak, no martial arts, he can't shiver his head, his shivering has a cooldown and his vision overheats after 60 minutes. Okubo was only able to win with not only using striking or only using grappling, but using them in combination, and also exposing the cooldown of Terashi's shivering, allowing Okubo to choke him out. For the sake of getting to the point, I discard all of the characterization, but the two have a lot. Both being clowns, like in comedy, Terashi having this huge mystery about his face and his mission with Nicholas Libana. Essentially, this fight wasn't something that Okubo just could simply overthrow with his skill. Okubo had to use his head and observe the surrounding, and this is why I think this fight is quite underrated. I'm fine with people disagreeing, I just wanted to point out what this fight does well, instead of talking about what it does wrong. Hope you liked it and have a nice day.